Hey everybody, this is Mr. Warner. We're doing 6.3, writing quadratic equations. All right, so if you can remember this, it's probably been a while, see if you can do this warm-up, okay? If you can't remember it, it's all right. We'll do it anyways. All right, so you did this when you did like linear equations, which was, I can't remember if that was 8th grade or 9th grade. But anyways, they're asking us to write an equation of a line with y-intercept, a y-intercept of 0, 4 through the point 5, 3. Okay, so to do this, we're going to use, our hint is y equals mx plus b. So just a reminder, I mean, you really don't need to remember this because we won't be doing linear equations, but perhaps like on an ACT or something like that where you need to remember this again. But m is your slope, b is your y-intercept, or at least the y value for your y-intercept. Okay, and given the information they give us, we're just going to plug in everything that we have. So this is like your b, and this is your x, and this is your y. This is just a random point that they want this line to go through. So to do that, we'll plug all that in. So y we said is 3 is equal to our slope. We do not know what our slope is, so we'll leave it as m. And then x is 5. And then we have plus b, which is 4. Okay, and all we need to do is solve for m. So to do that, we would need to subtract 4 to both sides. And that would give us -1 is equal to 5m. And then we would divide both sides by 5. And we end up getting slope, m, is -1/5. Okay, but we're not done. That's not our equation. So now we have our y-intercept and we have our slope. Now we'll plug that into our equation, our slope-intercept form. So we'll do y equals m, that's -1/5, x plus 4. And that is where you're at. Okay, so you've done this before, and we're going to do something very similar today, but with using quadratics. Okay, so a quick recap of the different forms that we've used in the past is standard form. Okay, A gives us direction of opening. It also helps us with our growth pattern. We use that for our growth pattern. So, but like the key features that we can find is maybe direction of opening. Okay, and then C gives us our y-intercept. Okay, this is the same for intercept form. Okay, A gives us the direction of opening, whether it's opening up or down. And then P and Q, that gives you your x-intercepts. And then for vertex form, again, A gives you your direction of opening on your growth pattern. And then H and K gives you your vertex. Okay. All right, the ones that we are going to use is these two. Okay. So let's just get into a problem and see how this all lays out. Okay, so knowing this, what we've covered, what we just wrote down above, write an equation that models the given information. So for any of these problems, they're either going to, these are your two choices, they're either going to give you the x-intercepts and a random point, or they're going to give you the vertex and a random point. Because if they give you that, then we can do what we did above with like linear equations, and we can solve for one unknown. So let's look at A. It says a quadratic with x-intercepts of 2, 0 and -2, 0 that goes through the point 0, 4. So since they give you x-intercepts, we're going to use intercept form. So I'm going to rewrite that here. that was y equals a, x minus p, and x minus q. Okay, if you did not memorize this before, you're going to want to memorize it now, okay, for these different forms. All right, and our x-intercepts, the x values for your x-intercepts, those are your p and your q, and then your random point is your x and your y. So now we have p, q, x, and y. The only thing that we're missing from our form is a, and that's what we're going to calculate. So here we'll plug in everything that we have. So y is 4, equals a, x is 0, minus p, well p is 2, and then we'll do x again, that's 0, minus q, well q is negative 2, so 0 minus a negative, that will end up giving us a positive. Okay, so we'll have 4 equals a, so maybe simplify that, that gives us negative 2, and this gives us a positive 2. We can multiply negative 2 and positive 2 if you wanted to. That would give us a negative 4. And then the last step we need to do is to get a by itself. So we would need to divide both sides by negative 4. That would cancel on the right side, and then all we have left is a equals 4 divided by negative 4, and that's just a negative 1. So here we have a is negative 1. So we're not done, we just calculated a, and kind of like here where we found the slope, now we needed to do is plug it into our form, and then we're good. Okay, so now we have, again here, I'm just going to do it over here, y equals a, well that's negative 1, so you could do negative 1 or you could just do negative, and we'd do our 2 parentheses. Okay, once you put it in our final equation, we don't substitute anything for the y's or x's. Okay, so y equals negative 1, we'll do x minus 2. Okay, and that's just the same thing here, and x plus 2. Okay, so this was x minus p, x minus 2, and then here that was x minus a negative 2 gives us a positive 2. And then we're all done. That's all we need to do. Okay? We're going to be doing the exact same thing for our next lesson, except it's going to be in word problem form. So do your very best to make sure you've got this, and it will make our next lesson a lot easier. All right, so I'd like you to try B by yourself. They're also giving you the x-intercepts, so you can kind of follow the same sort of steps and see where you're at. All right, so here we go. A quadratic with x-intercepts of negative 2, 0 and 4, 0 that pass through the point 2, 4. So again, we're going to use intercept form because we have our x-intercepts. I'll just rewrite it one more time. Okay, I expect you to label your x, y, p, and q. So here's our p, here's our q, here's an x and a y. Again, whenever you get a random point, that's what you're using for your x and y. And then you just need to plug everything in. So y is 4 equals a. We don't know what a is yet. And we'll do x, that's 2, minus p. So minus a negative 2 will give us a positive 2. And then we'll do x again, that's 2 from here. And then we'll do minus 4. Okay, so again, I would just suggest memorizing this and then writing that down on your homework and write it on your test. And then just use that. Okay, now we just need to simplify and solve for a. So this is still 4 equals a. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. that's 4 times negative 2 gives us a negative 8. And then we'll need to divide both sides by negative 8. So we end up getting A is equal to negative 4/8 or negative 1/2. So we should always simplify our fractions. And then our final thing that we need to do is we need to plug in our A value and plug in our P and Q, and we're good. Okay, so here we have y equals A, it's negative 1/2. We'll do x minus P, well that's the plus 2, so it's the same thing we did here. And then x minus Q, that's minus 4. And again, that's just that same there. So if you want to just bring that from there, you're welcome to do that. And you're set to go. All right, so those are both from intercept form. Sometimes we're going to also have it when we give us the vertex. So here, if they give you the vertex and a random point, then we're going to use vertex form. Okay, so you're going to want to write down that and memorize the vertex form. That's y equals a x minus h squared plus k. So for our vertex, again, that's your h and your k. And then your point is always your x and your y. So plug it all in. We'll do y is 4 equals a. We don't know what a is. For all these, we're going to be solving for a. Okay, and then we'll do x is 2 minus h is 1, square it, plus k, which is 6. And then we just need to solve for a. So we have 4 equals a, and the order you do this, some of you may do it a little different, and it's okay, but I'm just going to do what's in the parenthesis first. So 2 minus 1 is 1 squared plus 6. And that ends up giving us 4 equals a times 1 plus 6. And then to get a, again, it's like opposite of PEMDAS. So we need to do our addition and subtraction first. So we need to subtract 6 from both sides. And that gives us negative 2 is equal to a times 1. Well, that's just a. So we have a equals negative 2. So now we have a, and we have h and k, so we'll plug it into our form. So we'll have y equals negative 2 is a, x minus h, that's minus 1, squared plus 6. All right, now pause and see if you can do d by yourself. Again, this is your vertex form. I'm just going to copy that, except I think I got something else. Yep, I did. Okay. So this is your vertex form. Again, I'm going to ask you to label your h and your k and your x and your y. We'll plug all that in, so we'll do negative 5 is equal to a, x is negative 2, and then we're going to do minus h, so that's minus a negative 4, that will give us a positive 4, squared, plus k, well that's minus 8. So I'd simplify what's in that parenthesis. Oops. So that gives us negative 2 plus 4, that gives you 2 squared minus 8. And then we can square it. And then we're going to use opposite of PEMDAS to get a by itself. So we'll need to add 8 to both sides. That gives me 3. And we get a times 4. We could even do 4a if you wanted to write it like that. And then we'll just divide both sides by 4. So here a is 3/4. Plug it in and you're set to go. So we have y equals a is 3/4. We'll do x minus a negative 4, so that's the plus 4. And again, that's the same thing that you plugged in here. And this is the same here for the k. All right, so write yourself a list of steps to describe how to write the quadratic equation from key features. You can do it however you'd like, but basically you're going to look at the problem and locate whether they're giving you the vertex or the x-intercepts. If they have the x-intercepts, we use intercept form. If we have the vertex, we use vertex form. Okay, we are going to label our numbers that are like HK, XY, or if it's in standard form, we do PQs and XYs. We plug it into our equation. We simplify. We're always going to be solving for A. And once you have A, then we plug A back into our equation along with either the vertex or the intercepts, x-intercepts. Okay? Tip, once you're done with your equation, graph it using your calculator and check your values. Okay, so you should be able to take this equation, put it into your graphing calculator, and then you could do something like second trace, and you could do value, and then it will have like x equals, and you can put in something for that, and it will give you the y. So you should be able to plug in -4, and it should give you -8. You should be able to plug in -2, and it should give you -5. Okay, so you can check all your stuff that way. Plus, just looking at it, I think will help you make sure at least that it's like opening up or down, how it should be. Okay. All right. And this is just some extra practice if you'd like to do it. I don't want to spend that time for your video, but if you want to know what the answers are, just let me know. I'll email it to you, and you'll be good. All right, we'll see you later.